concluded ex-Peruvian CEO Alberto Fujimori has been forgiven by position lead Pedro Pablo Kuczynski. Mr. Kuczynski's office space told in a declaration how Fujimori, 79, was creature liberated on public health perspectives. Fujimori, who was in force of 1990 to 2000, was newly undertaken of jail to clinic since of low bloodstream blood pressure and anomalous cardiac beat. He has been serving a 25-year verdict for human rights atrocity and corrupt practices. He remnant a separating drawing in Peru. He is delighted by several Peruvians for fight Maoist mob, because his critics believe him a pervert autocrat. Fujimori has been in and out of clinic for a kind of public health problems in latter year. Opposition political community claim how the CEO had pledged the supporters to complimentary Fujimori in exchanging for their supporting. Mr. Kuczynski denies the complaint. In 2007, he was condemned to 6 years in prison for bribe and misuse of force. In 2009, he was condemned to else 25 years in jail for human rights atrocity devoted for his period in office space, consisting authorizing killings transferred out by DI squads. He executed a drastic program of complementary market reforms, reduction the part of the country in nearly all spheres of the economics. Although the upheaval treatment driven large odds for common Peruvians, it ended wild hyperinflationary and laid the way for supported economical increase in the other part of the 1990s. Fujimori as well tackled the leftward-wing mob whose 10-year rebellion inflicted thousands of deaths. But he says he never adopted a filthy warfare versus the mob. In 1992, in the supporting of the war, the CEO diluted the Peruvian convention and courts and withdrawn autocratic powers. He justifiable the action by disputing how the legal and judicial had been impeding the safety forces in their struggle versus the mob. Opposition political community told he was very searching to flee more democratic accountable. In his other period that begun in 1995, Peruvians began to vote anxiety how the methods utilized versus the rebellion were as well creature involved versus the CEO's more democratic opponents. His critics charged him of with the intellect facility led by Vladimiro Montesinos to frighten and spy on rivals. They told he exerted unjust monitoring on the print and the judicial, and utilized by the government asset to supporting his own campaigns. The critique enlarged while he announced he was to stay for an unparalleled tertiary subsequent period. Though he won the May 2000 elections, the win noted the begin of his collapse. A ribbon-founded show Mr. Montesinos seemingly bribery and opposition term of convention. Following the fracas ruined, the opposition obtained monitoring of convention for the at first period in 8 years and sacked Fujimori on perspectives of ethical inability. In November 2000, he fled to his parent home Japan, wherever he lived for 5 years in personality-imposed expulsion. In an force to revive his policy career, he flew to Chile in November 2005, just to be detained at the query of the Peruvian authorities.